Alright, this is the second video for my late interview question assignment, and I had left off on describing a difficult situation, how I handled it. In the previous video, I had mentioned how at work I usually avoid situations, largely because they weren't serious, just coworkers getting in spats with each other, and since I didn't have any involvement, I would do things for them while they were busy, so just clean off the tables and whatnot. But I believe a more applicable one would be dealing with interruptions. I live with my parents, and despite it just being the two of us and my dog, I get interrupted a lot. That's largely in part of they're falling apart before my eyes, so they need help with some things. And one of the ways that I am prepared for it is just having things on hand or around to take care of it as soon as possible. If my pup wants to play while I'm busy working on something, I just have a toy on hand that I can absentmindedly throw around or have a laser to point around so I can continue working on my thing. Or if my parents are working on something that they might need help with, I'll just relocate to be closer to them so that I can be more readily available to help them with what they need and go back to resuming my work. Describe myself. I thought of these questions previously, and now that I'm asking myself them, I'm forgetting. I'm relatively introverted, and a lot of times I just kind of do my interactions needed to get them over with. This class has helped a bit with like the networking activity, just getting up, talking to people, getting to know them, because I wouldn't say it's a weakness, but it's something that sometimes you need to get over with. Right, Ma? And I do believe I'm adaptable. I believe I spoke of that in my strengths. That's largely from having to move all the time when my dad was in the Air Force. You get used to things, look around, observe. I believe that observation is one of my strong points in some regards. And I'm not very good with dealing with emotional folks. I believe I'm more logical, so I need to learn more about that. That's something I need to work on. Especially in the field of work that I'm aiming at, you're going to need to deal with multiple people, and you're going to need some amount of understanding, and I need to learn that. What has been my biggest success and biggest failure? I'll start with the failure. That would be my chemistry classes. This is my third foray into it. First two attempts I dropped. First one was unrelated to anything education-wise. It's just the first two was... I don't think that's really necessary to say. First one, the teacher was not targeting. They were being very rude to me for no reason. And to the point of other students asking if I knew why or if something happened. I did not. I don't understand why myself, and I just wanted to remove myself from the situation. Second foray into it, teacher was good, answered questions, and he went through the material effectively, but he had a very strong accent, and I couldn't understand him, and it was simply a lot of effort just to make it through class, not understanding half of what he was saying. Lastly, this attempt was here at USAO, and I just couldn't really grasp some of the subjects despite my studying. I need to do it again for my major. I will be trying again. I must prevail. But I'm gonna need to get help this time. I can't continue struggling on my own. That's something I need to work on. But one of my biggest successes would be teaching kids in my Pathfinder group before we moved here. In California, I was able to teach some kids in our church club, which is known as Pathfinders, just like the Scouts, but funded through the church. And I would teach them things for honors, which are same as badges. Well, they were badges. And I would teach them things such as cooking, wilderness survival, making fires, what to do in case of emergencies, situations, whether they be medical or natural disasters, knot tying, fishing, firearm handling, just things that are not all of them are really useful in day-to-day life, but should you need them, it's good to know. Safety and whatnot. That was the main emphasis, safety. And I believe I did that effectively, so I would consider that a success. What motivates me? I am motivated by, I want a future where I can be comfortable. I feel like that might be a little selfish, but I want to be prepared for whatever comes ahead. I want to be able to handle it, whether that be being good financially or having the skills and knowledge to be prepared for things. And I would also like to make the people around me happy. The people who I care about or people who I interact with regularly. I want to be a nice person. I try my best. And what would my boss, manager, or advisor say about you? Well, I believe that my boss and manager at work, they say I'm very polite, and I'm happy about that. I try my best to do that for our customers. And I think they also say that I'm trustworthy and that I have integrity. Yeah. And I believe that concludes this. This video hopefully this will be uploaded. It's approaching 7 minutes. My apologies for this being late. There was a lot of stuff happening the week that this was due, and the previous video was too long and had several interruptions. But thank you and have a good day.